Hi there and welcome to the channel. In this video I'm going to start by talking about the beginning of how I actually came about fundraising. As you can see in the picture there's a 7-foot snowman on the top of Snowdon. There's a story behind that. It didn't just happen that I would decide to build a snowman on the top of Snowdon. So I'm going to go through Charlie's life and how we've come to do, because there's quite a few of us involved in this that supported me, and raise almost £30,000 in his memory so far. This will lead on to the next instalment of how we did the first snowman on Ben Nevis, and then completed the 3 peaks, building the 7-foot snowman in the replica of Raymond Briggs on each one of them. So thank you for watching. Charlie was born the 19th of September 2018 after a dramatic entry into the world. As you can see, he was a little bit poorly from the word go and had a lot of meconium, which resulted in him spending 3 days, I think it was, in Scafell, special care baby unit. What we didn't realise is that this was going to be a familiar thing of intensive care for babies. As you can see, little fine chap there, but yeah, he was a fighter from the word go. What I remember from the stay in Scafell most vividly than anything really is the fact that we could pick Charlie up. So there was a lot of babies in there, as you can imagine, very, very small and very, very poorly, and me and his mum almost felt guilty because we were picking him up whilst there was families in there that couldn't touch or hold their baby. That was quite a bit of a difficult thing to deal with, I think. Yeah, it's a hard place. So after a few days stay in hospital with Charlie, we had some tests done and just to make sure he was okay to come home, and we took him home after some ectopic pregnancies and a bit of tragic circumstances, like everything seems to be with us. Before that, we were taking Charlie home. We never expected to have Charlie, and he was completely out of the blue. And yet we were taking him home. Everything seemed fine. Everything was great. You can see from the video in a minute that he's just there like a normal little babby, peacefully playing, sitting in his swing while he's rocked to sleep. After a very short stay at home, Sarah, Charlie's mum, picked up on things a bit more than me initially, that his feeding wasn't just quite right. There was something not right. So we both have older children, and yeah, there was a little bit of a concern. So we started taking him back to the doctors. But as you can see, we were out and happy. There he is on the Mersey ferry, going over to Liverpool to do some shopping. Was absolutely thrilled to be on the ferry and fast asleep. It must be the motions of the engine, I suppose, and the rocking. But yeah, he was a happy little boy. He is growing up a little bit more, and as you can see, seems absolutely fine. He started growing bigger and bigger and bigger all the time, a bit like his dad really. And there's another little video of him playing happily. You'll have to excuse the background noise. I think we had the TV on at the time when the video was taken.
They only started planning for it late last year. This is the depth of incompetence. That's why no deal is so dangerous. It's because they didn't start it soon enough. Most other countries in Europe started planning for no deal way before this, like early last year.
So yeah, you can see from the video then that he was quite vocal and happy little boy. You can see from the next photographs that everything seems okay, and we knew despite his feeding issues, which was becoming a bit more difficult as he got a little bit older, we were still working hard and getting his feeding him. As you can see, he's glowing, pretty happy there. And you can see him on his first Christmas, and this is him with his grandma. And she's now sadly passed away as well. And there's sitting in his chair there. Another little video of him with his nan.
You do. Yes. Yes. When you get older, you won't even talk to me, I don't suppose. No.
So the next couple of pictures here are some of the last times that we had together when everything was okay. And this picture here was the 1st of May, and that's when everything changed. So I got a call from Charlie's mum to say that he was receiving CPR and he was blue, and the passing nurse had started CPR until the ambulance got there. That's the first day that everything started going a bit wrong. He choked on something and it set off a spiral of events. And this is Charlie in hospital in our park. We'd spent about 6 weeks in our park, I think it was, and then went over to Alderhay here for some more tests. And during those tests, they'd sort of picked something up that it wasn't quite right. We had another examination which he was put under anaesthetic for. So this is him just after recovery. Now this one is the first time, as he was an inpatient in Alderhay, that he'd had a massive desaturation and ended up in the high dependency unit. So he wasn't there that long on this one, just a short day. And then this is where he needed a couple more operations. So he had a fundoplication and a JPEG because he couldn't swallow anymore. And his feeding was becoming pretty bad, really, and having reflux. So it was life-threatening reflux, to the point whereby I think the emergency button had been hit about 50 times on the ward. And to try and combat that, he went down for surgery. It didn't go very well after the surgery. Within the next sort of 3 or 4 days, he just wasn't recovering back to what he was before he went down. And this is the last picture of him before he had to go onto the ventilator, which he never ever came off. And you can see here from his expression, he's just not well. And then unfortunately he was tubed up, and it was through his nasal cavity at that point. They did that to make an intervention, because if they hadn't, he was going to basically die. So you can see him trying to make the most of it, why he's got that horrible thing in his nose. There's another video of me and Charlie playing in the intensive care unit. We tried and did everything we could to make things a little bit better for him, as his mum and dad. And this one is the first time he'd been out of the bed for probably 4 weeks that we'd held him. Usually they don't do it with any ET tubes in and onto the ventilator, but you can see he was made up, I was made up. This was when Claire House came in, and this was about 10-15 minutes before I was called into the office with 2 of the doctors. And unfortunately his mum wasn't there at the time, it was just me. So they'd had from the genetic testing, because there'd been a few things that had not been going too right, and he just wasn't getting any better. And I found out he had a genetic condition called SMARD, spinal muscular atrophy with respiratory distress type 1. which is fatal by 2, unfortunately. This was November 2019 when we found out, and unfortunately Sarah was also pregnant at the time. You can see him, he's very well engaged with these videos. He's very well chilled out as well, and you can see him looking at the staff, which he has good relationships with. Yeah, great little toys these, they calmed him down as well. So as I previously said, that Sarah was pregnant with Oliver baby, which we just had this fatal one, and they'd said the fatal condition and diagnosis, and unfortunately we had amniocentesis, and that went a little bit wrong and the waters broke. The tests also came back that Thomas, which we named him, had the genes as well and the genetic condition. And the chances are, because the waters are broke, he was going to be in a very, very bad way when he came out. So we terminated that, and Thomas was born asleep. These decisions were just horrific. What you do everything you can for your children, even if that's mean you have to take the hardest decisions going, and you do it in the best interest to them. So this was Thomas's funeral, and this was the 23rd of December 2019. So Charlie deteriorated after these, and we'd already made pre-plans that once he deteriorated, we didn't want him passing away on the intensive care unit. So we had pre-plans drawn up that he'd go to the hospice at Clare House. And this was his last night before he passed away later on the next day. We wanted to get him into the swimming pool, the hydrotherapy pool, and we managed to get him out to the Blue Planet Aquarium. But you can see from these ones as well, certainly this one, he's tired. He's very, very tired there. And that was the night he passed away. And that was the 25th of February 2020. Yeah, very, very hard times. And it was just coming into the COVID period as well, which was even more stressful. So this is Charlie in Alderhay with one of the days that Clare House Children's Hospice came in to do a beach day, which they brought the beach to the intensive care. We had Sam there. It was a great day. He loved it, really. It was something that we always wanted to get him to the beach, but Clare House Children's Hospice brought the beach to him. So this is some of the reasons why I decided to do the fundraising and start afterwards. The reason why we chose the Snowman is that Charlie was watching this in intensive care a lot, and he was always so engaged with the Snowman and the actions and the song and the music, everything. He was just so engaged with it, and he loved it, and he passed away to that as well. So yeah, that's why I set up Charlie's Snowman. But I couldn't have thought of another way to raise funds for the hospice. He did everything for us and him. So yeah, I will, on the next video, I'll go into the start of the fundraiser. And that would have been Ben Nevis was the first one. So if you can come back for that, and then we will go through this journey together, and you'll see all the fundraising that we've done since, and the thousands and thousands of pounds that we've raised for charity in his memory. Thank you.